Hey guys, this is RolloutReviews with RolloutReviews doing another Let's Build and probably the final standard Bionicle G2 Let's Build, which is a thing, but oh well. Today we're taking a look at the other foreign Bionicle magazine exclusive mini set. This is the Skull Scorpion, not a Skull Scorpio or a skull spider with a scorpion tail. This is evidently an actual scorpion with an N. Now, I am pretty sure this time that this is not canon, because it didn't show up in any of the materials we saw in G2's run. And I will address the elephant in the room here a little bit later. But this is, as I mentioned earlier, included with a magazine that is not actually available in the US, so if you do live in the United States, you do have to import this online. I did not get it with the actual magazine it comes with, but I'm not really missing out on much there. It's just some recycled materials, some promotional pictures, some games from the activity book released last year, and some recycled comics from the graphic novels we got a while ago at this point. So nothing real special there, but I did just purchase the set on its own from Bricklink. These aren't actually poly bags per se, they're actually packed in a different material here. They're called foil packs because they're kind of this, well, foil material. But before we open this up and take a look at what's inside, I do want to address a couple of updates on the previous Let's Build I did for Ikimu's certain bird friend. So if you didn't watch the original video where I built this fella here, there will be a link in the description. However, if you recall, back then, the set hadn't actually been released at the time. This came with the second issue of the Bionicle magazine, and only the first issue was available back then. But there was a promotion in the back, and I used that as reference to bricklink the parts I needed to build one for myself. We didn't know too much about him back then. I thought he was just some fun little promotional item that had no relevance to the story. And while that is true for the Scorpion we're building today, it's pretty common knowledge at this point that I was completely wrong. This guy is in the second half of the Journey to One and plays a pretty big role. He is the reason behind Ikimu's shiny new armor. This is a Gill, the creature of light. And he is a hawk, not a falcon. So I don't know why the German version of the magazine calls him a falke or a falke or a falk. They could have just called him whatever is German for hawk. But maybe that was just a mistake. I don't really know. Anyway, since then, the actual foil pack has been released with the second issue of the magazine, and I did order one of those as well for collection purposes. Here's what the packaging looks like. I will not be opening this. This is just, again, for my collection. But don't worry, this is pretty much entirely accurate. It's completely accurate as far as the bird goes, so no issues there. However, there are a couple of extra pieces. I wasn't sure, but it does in fact come with the pieces used to attach the bird to his forearm, so that was good on my part. It does come with a couple of extra pieces down here, which I was not aware of. You see, in the Journey to One, Ikimu does not wear his shield on his back in this form, like I had assumed. He instead has it mounted on his leg. So, you get one of these, and you get another one of these. And this just goes on his thigh, like that. And then the shield plugs on just like this. And there is Ikimu, more or less in his canon appearance with the bird and the shield on his leg. He does have the cape, which isn't quite canon, but who cares? It looks cool. Anyway, going back to the Scorpion here, I did actually buy two of these as well, so that I could have one sealed and one to open. This one looks a little bit nicer, so I'm actually going to go with this one here. Let's get right into it, I suppose. I believe there's no scissors or anything required. you just, yeah, peel this back here. Which is actually good. It means the packaging is legitimately resealable, and you don't actually need to do what I did and buy a second one if you want to display the packaging alongside the set itself. So that is a plus, I suppose, for these pieces sticking to the back. You will notice that there are no instructions in the bag itself. Just double check. Yep. No instructions inside there, and that is because the instructions exist inside the magazines that come along with these. However, this one is pretty simple, so I think that's all I need as reference to build it up. I don't think I need anything more like I did with a gill. So here are all of the pieces you get. And let's just go for it. Let's just try it out. I think I'm going to, let me set these off to the side first here. I think I'm going to start with this little piece and attach connectors to all sides. Like that. And then attach the two segments of the tail. Another one of these goes on there. Oop. Give it the stinger. One of these goes on here. You get a little spike that goes on back there. Robot hand plugs in the top. Little eye goes on there, like that. Here are, like, I guess, mandibles or teeth on the front there. And then you just attach the four legs. No extra pieces at all in these sets, which is very interesting. I don't know if the same is true for a gill, but yeah, you get nothing extra with the little scorpion here. And there he is. There is the bag alongside him. So that is kind of neat, I suppose, for articulation. You got a ball joint there and a swivel there on each leg. Also, the mandibles, I guess, can function in that regard. He can, well, look left and right at the eye there. And the tail can actually sting. So pretty articulate, if nothing else. For comparison, let's bring in one of the skull spider scorpions. So quite a bit larger than those, actually. Here he is next to the scorpion shadow trap. Sort of a similar size to the skull scorpion, I suppose. Obviously a lot smaller than like skull scorpio or Qatar, but still quite a bit larger than those other two scorpion alternatives. I don't know, he's all right. Kind of a stupid little thing. Not nearly as cool as a gill, and he certainly doesn't have the storyline relevance to back him up either. So probably an easy pass, but the completionists out there will probably still want one of these. It's kind of like the good guy and bad guy polybags from G1 in that regard. So here's an idea. Maybe, just maybe, this is the scorpion that Pohatu encounters on his way to find his golden mask that makes him hate all scorpions from then on. It's possible, I guess, if you need an excuse to make this guy a little bit more relevant than he is. I will say I do appreciate that this is some kind of an attempt to expand on the natural fauna of Akodo that isn't a skull spider or one of the legendary creatures. Like, I guess it's still an arguably evil creepy crawly, and it's no G2 Rahi Master Builder set, But it is something, and I'll take whatever I can get. And to cap things off, here are all of the BIONICLE G2 promotional sets. Of course, not including the Comic-Con and Inside Tour exclusive collector's masks, which I was never really that big of a fan of. They are way too expensive, and I don't think I'd get that much enjoyment out of them. I think these kinds of things are a lot more fun. Now, admittedly, I'd say that the Hero Pack and this Scorpio are probably not worth your time. I really do like the accessory pack personally. I think that cape adds a lot to Akimu the Mask Maker, but I understand I'm probably in the minority there, and it's an easy pass as well. Now, I really do think that the Villain Pack is probably among the best out of all of these, and for any BIONICLE G2 fan, a Gil is kind of a must. It's definitely the most canonically relevant of the entire group. So take all of that as you will, and until next time, this is IX Roll at IX, signing off.